LeBron James recently on his show, The Shop, was asked by Maverick Carter, out of all the teams that are still left playing in the playoffs, of course, because the Lakers weren't in the playoffs, who would he want to play for? And he did say, the team that I would love to play for is not in the playoffs, which is the Lakers. Of course, he's got to give that answer. But he prefaces, if it was one team that I know could make an immediate impact in the postseason and we could be very special, it would either be Miami or Golden State for sure. So that was interesting. Like, of all the teams that are still in the playoffs or were in the playoffs, which ones he thought he could make an immediate impact and something special. That's a very particular way of phrasing it. Obviously, he's made some comments about wanting to play alongside Steph Curry earlier in the year. Those comments were not as well received by Curry as you might expect, but here he is talking about his old girlfriend, the Miami Heat, the whole college, right? The alma mater. Isn't that how we refer to this team?
Yeah.
I get, it stirs up a lot of news. It's great for clicks. We know that LeBron is a savvy media personality who likes to stir the pot and just, kind of make things, make people uncomfortable. He likes letting everybody know, you better come through or else, you know what? I might just find my way out the door. It's an interesting way to approach things. It certainly worked that way out in Cleveland twice. It worked that way in Miami as well. And maybe it could work out that way in Los Angeles. So if you were to force a trade or if you were to look elsewhere, would you want LeBron James back on the Miami Heat roster?
Yeah, I would. I know that there's a huge segment of Heat fans that have nothing. They don't want anything to do with LeBron after he left in 2014. And I get it. They're still hurt by it and whatever, man. Like, I'm not one of these people that say, hey, get over it. Like, get out of your feelings. He was here for 4 years. It was a great time. Just let him live. Like, if you want to be upset about something, be upset. That's part of being a sports fan. If you want to be irrationally upset, be irrationally upset. That's up to you. You want to live your life that way? Go for it. Good. Have fun. But that's not how I'm going to live my life. And I look, when he says something special, he means win a championship. That's what he means. And so you put LeBron on this team the way that this Miami Heat team was in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics. You put even this version of LeBron on that team. And I know this is not big three level LeBron. It's not the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Cleveland Cavalier LeBron either. Who was arguably as good, if not better, than the Miami LeBron, right? Like, this is a different level. He's still one of the best 7 or 8 guys in the NBA.
I thought he was an MVP candidate for most of the year.
And it was a weird year.
But, I mean,
I wouldn't count him out. I'm not counting. You put LeBron on this team with the level of shot creation that this team needed, yeah, that team's going to the finals. I also tell you this. Any Heat fan that says, I don't want anything to do with LeBron, if LeBron announced, hey, I'm signing with the Miami Heat for the mid-level exception, let's go after this thing, everybody's bringing those LeBron James jerseys back from underneath their closet, and they're bringing them out again. Like, if LeBron wants to play for your team, you just say, yeah, man. That's how LeBron has made his entire career, is just being like, I want to play for you, and then every team doing backflips, trying to and going and jumping through hoops to try to create the cap space or whatever was necessary. So yeah, if LeBron was going to become a free agent and be like, I want to play for the Heat, and he signed with the Heat, obviously you take it. Obviously.
Yeah, I think 29 other teams would too. Like, the Lakers certainly have him already on the roster, but I think there's no team that wouldn't want him for one reason or another. Like the Orlando Magic, who are clearly rebuilding. It's like, what? We get the name, the attraction of having the best player, one of the most famous players, one of the most famous people, athletes in the whole.
The valuation of your franchise skyrockets as soon as you put LeBron in your jersey. Everybody's doing it. The Warriors too, by the way. I know that Steph Curry was like, "I'm good." It was his quote. Steph Curry don't make the rules, man. Like, if LeBron wanted to sign with everybody loves Andrew Wiggins now and everything like that, but if it was Andrew Wiggins for LeBron, they're doing that, man. They are. Yeah. Sorry, Andrew Wiggins. That was fun. We'll take LeBron James. Thank you.
Yeah. He's been traded for LeBron before, so it wouldn't be.
That's true.
I always remember talking to you. Speaking of the valuation of the franchise, I remember talking to some of the Heat front office folks, like talking about jersey sales and the production and everything else like that. And the reason why they've had to lean into the Vice jerseys and everything else like that is because they don't have the big three on their roster. That if they had the big three on their roster, they could coast through the motions because those names sell no matter what.
They could just come out with the black tie jerseys again.
Yeah, military edition. What is it? The Stay Strong. What is it?
The camo, the Home Strong camo ones.
That still hurts my heart.
Great
Worst
sentiment,
jerseys of all
ugly
time.
jersey. Great
Yeah.
sentiment, ugly jersey.
Worst Heat jersey of all time, right? I know the
Yeah,
black tie ones are your personal
yeah,
unfavorite.
the black tie ones are mine, but they're both competing for the trophy that nobody wants.
Yeah, yeah. Having said that, look, I know a lot of people still resent LeBron, his departure, even now in context of, like, let's say you put all that past you. There are still some people who say, "Oh, he's going to change the kind of construction of this team. He's going to force them to do different things. He's older. He can't play
Yeah.
that switchable defense. He can't do the things he once did. You want the ball out of Jimmy's hands and you want it in LeBron's hands instead. Why would you do that to your star?
Yeah.
Why do you have a guy like Kyle Lowry on your roster if you have LeBron James on there, et cetera, et cetera?" And I got to say, I think all of those things, I won't say they fall to the wayside, but the reality is, yes, he's going to bend the team to his style of play because, well, it's worked out pretty good for the
Yeah.
past
He made
20
it work with D
seasons.
Wade and Chris Bosh, and nobody could figure out how that. All those guys wanted to work out of the low block, and they all figured out how to make it work. And you don't think high IQ basketball players like Jimmy Butler and Lowry can't make it work? This isn't Russell Westbrook, right? Like LeBron has made it work with everybody other than maybe the most reluctant superstar of all, the stubborn superstar of all time in Russell Westbrook. And so I'm with you. Like it would work. Like
It
the
would
fit
work.
thing is a little overblown. I think actually the NBA and the NBA media kind of succumbs to a fit fetish a little too often, where we talk
Yeah.
about fit. Like I was going back and looking at the trade grades for the Jimmy Butler Josh Richardson deal, and they give the Sixers an A because Josh Richardson was a better fit than Jimmy
Mhm.
Butler, and the Heat got like a C plus or a B minus because Jimmy Butler wasn't a great fit. I was like, are you? They just traded a second round pick, Josh Richardson, who we all liked, for a star in Jimmy Butler. And how did they get the worst grade? Like that was because of the fit. So we overvalue fit a little too much. Not to say it doesn't matter. Clearly it matters.
Yes.
But you need the talent first, and then you figure out the fit afterwards.
I don't even know what the question was. Like, what's the question about having your go-to player all of a sudden? Like on a team that was looking to Tyler Johnson. Again, no knock on Bumpy. Like, I mean, like to look to those guys to be the stars of your team, and all of a sudden you've got an actual top, 15-ish player,
Yeah.
an all-time all-star, great defender. It's like, you know what? Everything is going to figure itself out. You don't have to worry about the fit so much.
So what would you
I mean,
do if LeBron was? Let's talk about the LeBron fit. Let's just say.
yeah,
So I don't know what the trade would be, but let's just say like it was
okay.
he just signed for the
It's
middle of
not
the
happening,
exception.
so let's forget it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But
Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. Lowry, Jimmy Butler would be Lowry, Jimmy at the 2 guard spot, LeBron, PJ, and Bam. That would probably be the lineup, right? And if maybe you have to, I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Switch
You're
things
right.
around. Yeah. No, the
More important
lineup
question:
matters.
is that team the favorite in the Eastern Conference? If you put LeBron on the Heat, is that team the favorite in the Eastern Conference?
I can't see a world in which it doesn't. Like, again, we're talking about still even at age 30, 37, like still
Yeah,
a top five player in the league. Like, yeah, you worry about how to stop Giannis, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, wait a minute, you've got like three all stars, four all stars with Bam, and a great role player or several great role players finishing
yeah.
out that. I mean, there's so much to like about that potential lineup. And again, I know that it's not going to happen. That's what I'm saying doesn't matter because I know that's not going to
Doesn't
happen.
matter.
This is just more of a pointless flirtation from him. But at the same time, it's just like the idea of it, like pushing the floor, making those incredible passes.
We
It's
called it
LeBron.
pointless. Let's explore that a little bit. Is it pointless? Because you sort of alluded to the thing he said earlier this season where he was talking about like Sam Presti and the great GM job he was doing, and then the F them draft pick shirt that he was wearing in regards to the LA Rams, and then talking about how he wouldn't shut the door on a Cavaliers return and all this stuff. Like, is this pointless or is this strategic? Because I struggle to think that anything that LeBron says doesn't have an
One,
agenda behind it,
that's for
but
sure.
I can't figure out what this one would be because I don't believe that he's trying to work his way back to Miami. I don't think that that's the
That
case.
that's the point. That's to me what is pointless. Is I don't think he's trying to, like, let's assume, and I think a lot of that water has passed under that particular bridge. I think he connected with Riles
Yeah.
at Chris Bosh's inauguration at the Hall of Fame, and so, I think he's certainly strong ties to Dwayne Wade, even though Dwayne isn't necessarily linked to this franchise any longer.
So you're saying Riley would bring him back?
I think he'd find whatever mat he could to put whatever key he has to in order to bring
Yeah.
LeBron back. Yes. So that's not the concern. The concern is also, again, to your point, there's a reason behind why he's saying these things. and it's to light a fire under the Los Angeles Lakers, not necessarily to inspire Miami to make a trade for him. That's why I think it's a non-issue, even though it is a lot of fun to talk about.
The Warriors stuff is really interesting though, right? Because they could actually do the trade. If the Warriors called the Lakers and said, "Hey, we'll give you Wiggins because of the contract, expiring contract, by the way, so you can decide whatever you want to do with it, plus like all the young, nice players that we have, like Wiseman, Kuminga, Moses Moody, for LeBron, and basically just bail out the Lakers from the whole LeBron experience and kind of get them to reset their entire franchise around Anthony Davis and some nice lottery picks." Just saying. Like LeBron keeps mentioning, this is the first time we've heard the Heat, but he keeps mentioning Golden State. That's interesting. This is not Locked On Warriors, and I don't host that show anymore. But
would Warriors fans like that? Like, I feel like they would lean more towards.
No, they're doing the same thing that the Heat fans do. Like, get him at no way. LeBron James, don't want him. And then as soon as he's wearing a Warriors jersey, they'll be like, this guy's the greatest. He's even better than Kevin Durant. Like, that's just the way sports fans work. Just the
that would inspire them. Yeah, if you could remind them that, hey, he's actually better than KD, that would give them another reason to like him better than just any reason to bag on Kevin Durant, I guess. Anyway, it's been a fun discussion, but we'll put a pin on this as we lean into our Blue Notebook scouting reports. Make sure to check out those episodes coming up over the next couple of days, because again, they're a lot of fun to talk about these players and how they could potentially fit and end up on the Miami Heat roster. But thank you so much for making Locked On Heat your first listen every day. Make sure to go check out the Locked On NBA Big Board with host Rafael Barlow from NBA Draft Junkies and the author of the NBA Big Board newsletter. He's joined by Richard Stayman, as well as Sam Ferris and Leif Lulin. They give fans an in-depth look into the NBA draft. They've got a mock draft, player rankings, and of course, big boards for you. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. This is David Ramil signing off for now. Thanks so much for joining me, Wes.
Wrap it up, B.